Hey guys, what's up? Justine here. If you're a returning subscriber, I'm glad to have you back. If you guys are new to my channel, this is the first time clicking on one of my videos. Hi, my name is Justine. I'm a nurse. I've been working on a medical unit for 3 years now, and I'm about to leave my job and go work in ER. So glad to have you. Today we are in a bit of a different location because I thought I would start a series on my channel where I'm going to teach you guys how to do some technical skills. So as you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to start IV fluids. I don't have a pump, obviously. I'm just going to do it by gravity. I'm going to show you guys how to prime your line and all the steps that are included in that. If you guys are already nurses, probably already know how to do this. This video is probably not for you, but for all you nursing students out there, if you haven't learned it in lab yet, or if you just want a good review, then this is definitely the video for you. Also, super exciting because this video is also sponsored by Skillshare. Now, I have done videos with them in the past, and I thought that this would be the perfect video to have them sponsor because Skillshare, if you guys didn't know, it's an online community with courses. There's like thousands and thousands of creators and courses. Like basically you go there to learn a new skill. So I did calligraphy, I did knitting, I was looking at macrame. I looked for like nursing videos. There wasn't really any. There was one really interesting course on nursing leadership and management. I think I'm gonna look at that one because it looked really interesting. And the courses are super long. They're like 40 minutes, an hour. Some are shorter, some are longer. And you can just really just learn so many new things, new skills, and it's amazing. And yeah, so Skillshare is usually about $10 a month, but if you guys click the link down below, so the first 500 of you guys that click the link down below will get 1 full month free. There's no obligation. You can quit at any time. You're not forced to stay. Just go ahead, try it out, see if you want to learn some new things, and then if it's not for you, then you can go ahead and cancel your subscription. But I definitely recommend you guys check it out. It is amazing. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. So I have my supplies here. We're keeping it super simple today. This is like the simplest thing ever. But I have a bag of 250 ml of normal saline. And I have a tubing here. Now, there's different types of tubing. Okay, I'm going to go over a couple terms in this video for you guys. And I'm going to explain what they are in case you don't know. So today we're just doing a primary line. So a primary line is basically, okay, this is hard to explain. I might put a picture here if I can find one, but basically when you have an IV, when you start IV fluids, you have your primary line, which usually your bag can be like NS, it can be D5W, it can be Ringer's lactate, it can be D5W-NS, D5W half NS, it can have potassium in it. There's a bunch of different options. And then so that's your primary line. And then you can also have what we call a piggyback. So a piggyback is something that you will connect to one of the ports of your main line, and you can run that intermittently. So you can usually what we'll use piggybacks for is like antibiotics, or I guess you could use it for like Lasix or Solumetrol or something. Obviously you have to check if your main line and your piggyback are compatible, because often they're not. Like if you have potassium running in your main line, or if you have D5, they're often not compatible. So always check that. But basically this is one of the types of tubing where there are 2 ports that you can connect a piggyback to. So I don't know if this is going to focus. I really hope so. But if you guys see here, there's one port and here's another port. So usually you will connect your piggyback to the highest port, and then you'll run your main line through the machine and have your piggyback just above where your main line goes in the machine, and then you run that as your secondary line. So that's the first thing. If you want to connect something to your lower port, usually we do that for if we're doing like blood transfusions. You'll have your blood transfusion as your main line, and then this will be your safety line. So this will not be going through the machine. Prime this just like you would, and then your blood transfusion is going to go as your main line, but you're going to connect it to the lowest port of this. In case someone has a reaction, you can stop the transfusion and then run this. And then you'll only have, the only amount of blood that's going to have to go in before you run your fluids is this little part right here. So instead of having to run the whole thing full blood, you're just running the bottom. So that's like a safety mechanism. Another time you might run Something you might connect it to the lowest port is if you're doing like any blood products, so blood transfusion, albumin, platelets, anything like that. If you're running electrolyte replacement like potassium or magnesium, you'll have your magnesium as your main line, we'll say, going through your machine because that's what you want to rate control. And then you'll do the same thing. You'll have a bag of normal saline connected to the bottom, or you'll have your magnesium connected to the lowest port. That way, again, if there's a reaction, you can just run your NS. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. The setup I have here for you guys is exactly how I practiced this when I was in school. So this is giving me like a little flashback, but it's super simple and we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so we have our cute little setup right here. I don't have any hooks or anything to hook the bag onto. So this is what I did when I was practicing. Get yourself any kind of hanger, find yourself something to hook it on. Okay. We're gonna open the bag. As you can see, this is NS, and these are actually leftover. No, I did not steal these at work. These are actually leftover from when I was in school and they gave them to us to practice. So these are probably expired, so that's why I'm using them today to show you guys this. So you have a slit at the top of your bag. You just rip it open like that. Pop your bag out. You might be able to see it better now. So see, it's NS. Oh, it's actually not expired. Huh, interesting. Okay, so there's a little slit here at the top. You're just gonna pop it open like that, and that's what you would hook onto your IV pole. So what I very cleverly did is that I just hooked it on to the top of the hanger like that, and then you just pop it on there. See? Amazing DIY right here. So I'm going to bring you guys a little bit more over here. I think you'll be able to see a little bit better. You might not be able to see me, but that's okay. I'm not the focus of the video. So we have our tubing here, and there's also a slit on the side. I'm just going to pull it open. And now there's a few things that you guys need to know. So the first thing is that your tubing is wrapped up like this. So you're just going to go ahead and remove the piece of paper. Okay, so you have a very long cord. So obviously the top that you're gonna plug into your bag of fluids is this piece right here. So as you guys might have learned, this is called a drip chamber. And I'm not sure what this piece is called. This is what you hook into your bag. I know this is a bevel. You guys can tell me what it's called, but I know that this is called a drip chamber. Then you have your tubing. These are little filters right here. I hope this is focusing. This is port number 1 that I was telling you guys about that you can connect your Piggyback to. Keep going, keep going. I'm going to move out of the picture because I think it's focusing on me instead of the tubing. So I'm going to move out of the picture. Okay, so then you have here, this is your clamp. You have 2 clamps. So you have this one right here, and then you have this one. This one is the one that you are going to clamp like that, and that would go into your machine, but we're just going to leave it unclamped for now because we're doing it by gravity. And then here, this is your rolling clamp, and this is what the first thing you're going to do when you open your bag is, some people like to leave it down below next to the second port here. I like to bring it all the way up because I know that when I'm going to put this port into the machine, I'm going to want it to be high up next to my first port right here. So I'm going to leave it about here, and you just roll it close. So this is about the distance, if you guys can see. Not really, but anyway, it's close to your first port here. So first thing you're going to do is clamp this. Okay, that's number 1. I'm just going to take this. Okay, you're going to want to hold your tubing like this. So number 2 is, so in your IV bag here, let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. Okay, so here is your bag of NS. You have 2 ports. This one is the one that you're going to use if you want to inject any medications. You would use this port. This is the port we're going to use to spike with our tubing. So you can just pull on it like that, and it will not leak because there's a valve there. Open your cap, and you are going to pop it in there. You want to make sure that you're all the way to the top right here. So then what you're going to do is you're going to press on your drip chamber and see how that's filling up with NS. So you want it about half full, and that's just so you're able to see when it drips You don't want it too full, then you can't really see if it's dripping, but if it's half full, that's perfect. I'm gonna zoom out and I'm gonna show you guys how to actually prime your tubing. I really hope you guys are gonna be able to see this. I hope it's not too like small or cluttered or whatever. Okay, so you have your rolly clamp here. Rolling clamp is such a bad name. You have your rolling clamp here. What I like to do is to keep my my tubing taut so that there's no air bubbles, because air bubbles are hella annoying. So if you guys haven't learned that yet, you will learn that, okay? Hold your clamp, you slowly open, and you guys might not be able to see, but it's okay, it's coming now, so it starts dripping. And then you can hold your port upside down. That way you'll be sure not to get any air bubbles. Okay, now the fluid is about here. Once it's here, I can keep opening it slowly. And you guys probably can't see, but it's slowly coming down. And I'm always keeping my cord very taut, again, to make sure no air bubbles form. You could go faster, but I always prefer to take my time to ensure that. And then again, upside down. Okay. And then once you get to the end, you just clamp it back. That's it, guys. It's that easy. I told you guys it was easy. Now, if you were going to run this by gravity, so by drops per minute, you would control that with your rolling clamp. So say you want 10 drops per minute, you're gonna look and make sure that it's 10 drops, 10 drops per minute, 15 drops per minute, whatever your rate is. If you're running it through a machine, you're gonna clamp this cute little blue clamp. Once this is clamped, you can open your blue one, roll it down because you don't really need it anymore. And then you're gonna go ahead and pop this into your machine, and then the machine's gonna do the calculating for you. Now, okay, so let's say you have a piggyback to do. So you have this in your machine, it's calculated. We're gonna count this as our primary. You always have primary and secondary. If I'm running a piggyback, like say I'm running an antibiotic, I like to put my primary, I do 10-10. So I do 10 mLs per minute and 10 mLs. That way, once my antibiotic is done, it gives me an hour to come and disconnect my patient before the machine starts beeping and driving them crazy. So once that's programmed, you're gonna connect your secondary. I don't have a piggyback right now, but you would, it's a very short tubing. And one thing that's very important is if you're running a piggyback, you always want your primary line, so the one that you're not running, lower, because that way it won't run. If you have them at the same height, this one's gonna run. If you have them this one lower, they usually give you like a little metal thing to put this lower on your port, on your machine, sorry. And then your piggyback's gonna be up here. So you're gonna wanna rate control that as your secondary line, and you're gonna go ahead and connect it in this highest port right here. Then all you have to do is make sure that all your clamps are open, this one, and you're gonna have a similar one on your piggyback line, and you just go ahead, confirm both, and run. And then one thing you always have to do, guys, if there's one thing you take away from this video, it's remember to make sure that you check that your medication is actually going. And how you do that is by checking the drip. So if I'm running a piggyback, I'm not going to program it and leave. I'm going to stay, look at the drip chamber on my piggyback, make sure it's dripping, because sometimes you might have forgotten to unclamp your piggyback tubing, and so your primary line is going to go. And that's super annoying, because then you come back an hour later and you realize that you've just been infusing NS, and now you need to restart and infuse your secondary line. And that is so annoying, and it's annoying not only for you but for the patients, because they have to sit there for another hour longer. So I think I've covered everything. If you guys have any questions about this process, please leave them down below. If you guys have any questions or any recommendations, what would you guys like to see next in terms of technical skills? I was thinking of doing bloods, IVs. We could do bandages if you guys want. I have a couple of those laying around, but please let me know what type of technical skills you guys want me to teach you. I'm planning on doing 3 more from here to June, so definitely leave your recommendations down below. What do you guys want to see? And I will do them for you if I can. If I have the supplies, because I have a bunch left over from when I was in school. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.